We can call this meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Anthony, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Debbie, if you could take roll call, please.
Chair Nelson,
Here.
Vice Chair Seremian,
here.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Here.
Secretary Avalos,
Here.
and Member Herrera.
Okay, at this time, this is an opportunity for anybody in the public to address the board on any matter related to the commission that is not on the agenda. Is there somebody who wants to say something about something else? Okay, hearing no comments. Are there any additions to the agenda? I don't hear any. Potential conflict of interest. Any board member who has potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. We just have two proposals. Does anybody feel they need to recuse themselves? Okay, hearing no. We need to approve the minutes of the last meeting. And that was June 9th. Take a look at those.
I move that we approve June 9th agenda meeting as it reads.
Is there a second? A second.
Chair Nelson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Seremian,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Secretary Avalos,
Yes.
and Member Herrera.
Yes.
Okay, our action items tonight. We have our, look into that biennial.
Yeah, I can address it anyway.
I will.
So the Fresno County Board of Supervisors, as a product, the state law requires the district to adopt a conflict of interest code each year, every other year, excuse me. And I've reviewed the conflict of interest code and do not believe that any amendment at this time is required. So you would just notify, and I'm happy to do that, to have the chair sign, but to say that that no amendment is required.
That would be great.
Okay. And that would just takes an action of the board. So it'd be a motion to submit the biennial notice with no action required to the conflict of interest code.
Anybody? To approve it, yeah. No, well, somebody has to make the motion.
Make a motion. Okay, so I'll make a motion again that that we adopt this local agency biannual notice with no corrections or additions.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, yeah.
Chair Nelson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Seremian,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Secretary Avalos,
Yes.
and Member Herrera.
Yes.
There's no financial report on this again. Well,
Should have been.
yeah.
We can scoot it in now, I guess.
Oh, we'll.
Or can't we?
Well, you know, we're talking about doing a special meeting, and maybe that
Oh,
might be the time.
okay. All right.
What was that? We can't.
Since it's not on the agenda, you can't, but
Well, here's some copies if you guys want to see the financial report.
So that should be standing.
It should be.
It should be a standing thing from now on.
Today is the 16th.
Okay, we have a request to provide a quote to reimburse Leon's Computers for the live streaming. You want to tell us what you've done here?
So it's basically 3 cameras that are going to be streamed over Zoom. So just as before, everyone can log into the Zoom, and now they can see everybody, even the those that are going to talk. And then the next day it'll be uploaded to YouTube. There'll be a new YouTube channel, and we'll also have a separate page for the links with the dates, so people can go on the website,
On our website?
click on it, and it'll take them to this YouTube channel with that specific meeting.
And going forward, it'll be every meeting. This is the first one, correct?
Yeah, this will be the first one. This is the trial run.
Okay.
So we had some community members ask if this could be done, and yes, it can, and we are. Okay, so did you provide that?
I don't have a proposal. I'll get that later. This is kind of,
If you need a proposal,
That
wouldn't you just
special
give
meeting.
me an invoice?
We're gonna have a special meeting, so I guess we can attach it at
Oh,
that
when's
time
the
when we
special
do.
meeting?
That's it, yeah.
It's not set yet, but by the end of tonight, I think we'll
Yeah,
probably come up with a calendar date.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, then we'll just table that until the special meeting. Okay, I think Danny wanted to talk about number C, requesting a cap to proposals.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is also table this until we do the special meeting, because I think that this will work in conjunction with the ad hoc. I want to look into what's going on with the verbiage on the grant stuff.
Okay,
Okay, and so this particular idea of dropping the cap to 5,000 more or less was a Band-Aid, and I'd rather wait and see if we can address the verbiage on to inform those that want to propose a grant to us that it is self-explanatory. So in other words, it kind of weeds out, if that's the right choice of words, for the 5 of us to make decisions. So I think we need to update some of the verbiage, if
So
that makes sense.
it
So I
does-
think what I'm gonna do is so we'll pull this,
table it.
at this time, and work with this,
So would you like an ad hoc committee put together,
yes, I would,
and you would like to be on it?
I would.
And Anthony would like to be on it?
correct.
Oh, so you guys already discussed this? Is that,
No,
sounds like you guys discussed this already or something?
I just put it on the
I
agenda.
was under the impression that everybody who comes with the proposal has the right to be heard.
They do.
They're citizens.
And
of
that's why
Summit.
we're
They're taxpayers.
tabling this. So
They
we,
haven't even spoken.
No, it doesn't have to do with them.
no, it has nothing to do with them.
No, it doesn't
It
have
has-
anything.
it
I
has-
thought that we had already said that.
Capped at
We had
15,000.
already capped it.
No, I
We
proposed.
did, we had capped it
I
already
got-
because the high school came for $100,000.
I got
Now
that.
that was too much.
No. I didn't say, I had put on the agenda of visiting, capping it at 5, is changing the cap. But I have determined that that's not the proper way to do this. The proper way to do this is to update and create a better verbiage as far as the people that are proposing to have a grant, as they approach us, as to what's doable and what's not doable, as far as for health, if that makes sense. And so the reason I'm saying this is that I have a hard time trying to figure out preparing for ground that belongs to the city at Babe Ruth. Those items like that, I think there's gotta be verbiage in there that doesn't make that a health-related item, if you understand my point.
And I believe we discussed at the last meeting that we were paying half and we were no longer going to grant that. And I had asked 3 meetings ago when we had a special meeting for the contracts to be re-edited and let there be space so that things like that can be in there so that
And
they don't
that's-
come back,
that's-
but it never got done.
That's what we're approaching right now, Letitia.
Can I speak to it? Because Director Sereni called me today to discuss it. So what it sounds to me is that there is a request to reevaluate the grant policy to see if the criteria for grants is consistent with the state law, with the local healthcare district in regards to what the money may be used for. So I think Director Seremian had placed the item on the agenda with the cap, but in talking with Director Seremian, it sounds like the cap is not really the issue. The issue is whether or not the grant policy is too broad to exceed the scope of the local healthcare district law and what funds can be used for. So what he asked me to do today was, well, and I think he talked to the chair, is that the chair appointed ad hoc committee to evaluate the statute and to evaluate the grant policy and to come back to the board at a special meeting to discuss what the law is and what the policy is, and for the board to make the decision on whether or not the grant policy should be narrowed, if you will, to ensure that it complies with state statute. Doesn't have to do, from what he was telling me, with any specific application before us today or anything in the past, so much as I think that's what he was looking for. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that, but that was, literally what we talked about a few
Correct.
hours ago.
Yeah. So there was no special hidden meeting or anything like that. I wanted legal's advice as far as pulling the request on this cap, because I think I approached it in an indirect, not correct manner. I kind of put the cart before the horse. And
Well, here's how I feel about it. If the Selma Unified School District, if the school board can't provide anything as far as instruments, athletic equipment, uniforms, whatever have you, they're not being addressed and they never want to meet with all the boards to find out where's this resolution at the council, the cemetery, the healthcare, the school board, and the head departments of the city should all meet so that when people come and need resources, we should be able to direct them and why they're not be giving from the school board. Why are they coming over here? Why? And you want to have a meeting now and rechange it. Everybody to me comes to us because nobody ever questions why the school board can't provide for our kids. Okay, they come to us and apparently the city don't have enough money, just like why is the city paying for the campus police officers when the school district has the most money? Because there's no money in the city to provide for other stuff that's needed. To me, we live in this city. We need to help take care of who lives in this city. People come to us because they need the help. That's what this board is in place for. Now you want to regulate and start taking away, for instance, and I'll just say that this poor citizen that just got mauled to death by 5 vicious animals roaming the street. Could that have been prevented? I believe so. I believe so. It could have been prevented.
so the health board should have stepped in on the dogs?
So I'm saying that this is a safety and health issue for the community. It's a safety issue. A person's life was lost, whether it be a newborn one day or a 100-year-old person, doesn't matter. It's a health and safety issue for the city,
I agree
just
with
like
you.
everybody else who comes here.
I agree
and
with you to an
You may
extent.
want, or you may want to regulate and all that, but the point is that as long as all the boards don't ever meet and have a discussion on why is there no money? Where does all the money go? we're never gonna know, and now you wanna do this and have this
Well,
special meeting
Letitia,
where
you
to
have
take
to,
away,
you have to- you have
from
to
our
take-
citizens,
you
and
have
I
to
don't,
take into consideration and reel in your radius, because we're not obligated as the health board, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're here to deal with grants based on health. And it's not about
as
overs.
far as I'm
Well,
concerned,
let-
everything
please,
falls
I
under
allowed you to
healthcare.
talk. I allowed you to talk. And the thing is, it's not a pissing contest with the five of us. It has to deal with what are the terms, the bylaws of the healthcare board? That's what I'm dealing with. And I think the verbiage there is to help with concerns regarding health. Okay, now, there are instances in the past, and I'm the newest director or whatever on board, so I don't have a lot of meetings under my belt, just a couple years. But I've seen some stuff that came to us, and then it should have been something that was done by the city. I don't think that preparing ground is a health issue. And this was with Babe Ruth. And then after the city council granted $200,000 to Parks and Recreation to take care of that. Okay, so
then
I'm saying they are working in their departments, but it isn't our department, I don't believe, as healthcare district, that we're supposed to take care of these people on some of the issues that they're presenting. So my suggestion is to reword this and channel it into a better fashion. So these people that are approaching us for a grant realize what they can come to us in front of us and propose and what help they need. That's where I'm at with this.
Would you like to be on that
Yeah.
committee too?
Mhm. Yes,
Okay,
let me on there.
You could have two
Oh, two.
before this too.
oh, well,
Well, I guess I can't.
but it still has to come back to the board.
But that doesn't mean that the ad hoc committee doesn't go to each member to get the input,
That would be a Brown Act violation.
but not, I mean, separate,
You can't, that's a Brown Act violation.
really.
You have to bring it back to
You
the
have to have
board.
a public discussion of it. If there's a serial kind of like going individually to each board member, it becomes a Brown Act violation.
Excuse me.
But certainly there can be a robust conversation in a publicly agendized meeting about it.
Now, is it possible to have just like a questionnaire?
Sure.
What are each member, what are some of your concerns with the wording as it is? What would you like to clarify? What would you like to streamline? And then that.
You
come back to
could,
the-
though that document would become a public record and it would be open to the public to review. But you can't have one board member interviewing another board member for that. It would be a Brown Act violation. But yeah, you could absolutely do that.
Again, it's not to take away anything, it's to streamline, clarify, so that way that we kind of get rid of the gray. That's it.
Well, since you two put your hands up there first, I'll let you two work on the ad hoc committee and bring it back to the full committee for discussion in an open meeting, and we can either have a special meeting or do it in November. Any thoughts?
I have a question. As we're in this committee, meeting with you, there's no violation with that.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm not a board member,
okay, all right.
legal counsel.
I just want to make sure that when we put this together, that we're doing it in a proper manner.
Yes, and it can be circulated to the board and to the public in advance. But there cannot be like individual conversations with board members beyond the two. And it may only be adopted in open session at a full board meeting. It can't be done obviously as part of an ad hoc committee.
Okay, then I'll let you two set that up and work on it. And would you like to just bring it back in November, or would you like to try and do a special meeting.
We should probably do a special meeting since there's several.
You know, we're changing the guards, I mean, so everyone's on board. The existing board members that are on now are making the decision. I know Anthony's running unopposed, but with Letitia and then you stepping down, I'd rather do something before the election. So we're all on board, if that makes sense to everybody.
That's fine with me.
So if we did a special meeting,
We've got to give you time to meet. You want to set that special meeting now? Or at the
no,
end
I
of the
think,
meeting?
what, at the end of the meeting or send out it would just be us meeting, right?
Just you two. But then a special meeting has
It has to be everybody. yeah.
everybody and the community.
And it could be posted on the website, so.
Yes.
I'm thinking like the end of October or first part, end of September or the first part of October is when we have a special meeting to give us enough time to sharpen our pencils. So if we were to do it on a Tuesday, that would be either September 27th or October 4th.
I can't do it on September 22nd, but I can do it on October 4th.
I'm
working.
Huh?
Rank.
I'm here in October.
How about the 11th on October?
No.
I cannot.
Does it have to be on a Tuesday?
6th. That's October 6th.
Sure.
I'm not a test, so.
October 6th.
She said, how about?
And you said the 13th you can?
I
13th?
can.
You can on October 13th? Well, that's September. Uh-oh.
Thursday, October 13th.
No. She can't.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Lorraine can't.
Okay.
Was October 6th?
What about,
Tuesday, October 18th.
I'm in, how about more towards the end of September? Like sometime that last week?
I'm on vacation.
Was that?
He's on
On
vacation.
vacation.
How about, does anybody have any date in the third week of October?
I'm gone the third week.
Okay, you're gone the third week. Well, why don't we,
September 22nd.
How about the 25th of October? That'll be just before our board meeting
That'll work.
that's fine with me.
It doesn't work.
for me.
I'm sorry.
What about the 26th? It doesn't have to be.
That
Tuesday.
whole week is, I have evening meetings. I mean, and Debbie, certainly no offense to you, but is it possible we could revisit October 4th?
I'm working.
Oh, you're working. Okay.
But I have 6th and the 6th, I have the 6th and 7th.
That October 6th works for me.
How about October 6th for everybody?
No.
11, 7, 11.
October 10th.
Work.
I'm free.
On a Friday.
That's fine. Works.
I'm free on vacation.
Works for me.
You're on vacation. When are you available in October?
October. Probably after the 18th.
Third week of September. In September? How about the third week in September?
20.
That would work for me.
22nd.
Yeah.
Third week. I have the 13th or 16th.
13th or 16th?
September.
Or the 16th, are you free those days? 13th is good.
It does not work for me. I apologize.
All right, how about the,
The 16th works.
It's a Friday, 16th.
I'm good for the
Or
16th.
the 15th.
15th?
Thursday, the 15th.
Are you working?
Month 16th.
16th is available.
Are you off the 16th?
That's Friday.
Right.
That works.
Which date?
The 16th
Of September.
of September.
This is a regular meeting or special?
Special. Because then we'll have our regular meeting in November.
And the regular meeting is in November, right?
Yeah, 6, September 16th at 6 o'clock?
Just a Friday.
I know. I don't have a lot. But it won't hopefully be that long.
Friday, September 16th at 6 p.m.
Darn, got it. Got that, Debbie? Okay, so our first proposal, ESYN. All yours, girls.
Okay. Hi, I'm Roxanne Marshall with ESYN, Exceptional Sports for Youth with Needs. And I am Charlotte Lewis, also with ESYN. And the other founder, Jeanette Ontiveros, could be with us tonight. We're here today for a proposal. We started ESYN about 6 years ago. And what we do is we provide events and activities for the special needs population in our community. About 7 years ago, the only thing that was here in Selma for our kids were Challenger program, baseball through Selma Little League. And because there was nothing else for our kids to participate in, we began the ESYN. Since then, we have bowling for 6 weeks. We do indoor soccer. We provide Halloween, carnival, breakfast with Santa. And recently, we just started, with the help of the board, sending kids to Project Surf Camp over in Morro Bay, where the special needs kids get to be with instructors that are trained to be with our kids and teach them like the surfboard or whatever they can do in the water. And we've, Spirit Horse in Kingsburg. We started with them this year, doing farm days and doing activities outside at their place, therapy with the horses. And yeah. Oh, and the most recent thing we started was I Dance in Fowler, where we provided 6 weeks of dance, hip hop dance for our kids that wanted to go. And that was fun. And we just completed that last week. And so our next event will be this Sunday, August 21st for bowling. That would do 6 weeks. Our freeway lanes here in Selma.
And you're asking,
So today we're asking for upcoming events starting in January. So what we're asking for, we start in January, which would be indoor soccer, horse therapy, the Challenger baseball program, the I Dance, and also bowling. And all that would take place next year, starting in January 2023.
and you're aware that should you be given the grant money, it would be written to those programs?
Yes, and we do have some of the invoices. We're only able to get 3 as of today. One will be coming tonight through an email, and we can provide you that invoice tomorrow. But yes,
How many kids do you have in this program?
so each event is different amount of kids. So I'd say we probably have 70 to 80 families, but like bowling, we have 61 kids registered for this Sunday.
Okay, so just a couple quick questions. Your organization, when a child comes and wants to be part of this organization, do you guys charge registration fees?
In some events.
Okay,
So
what do you
let's,
charge for that?
so each event's different. So for bowling, we are charging $20 for bowling. But
So then,
that is just to cover the cost of the shirt and the medals and stuff, which is not affiliated with the grant that we're asking for. That is strictly for the use of the lanes at freeway lanes and the shoe rental that is required for the children to bowl.
so then you guys collect no fees at all from these kids, other than the fact of the $20 that you guys are saying it goes to a t-shirt
Yes.
and shoes if they need to rent them at the bowling alley.
No, the shoes is included in the price on
Okay,
the grant.
and each program is different price.
Yes.
And are these kids all from Selma or are they all neighboring cities?
We have quite a few kids from Selma, but we do have some from neighboring cities, yes. But the biggest percentage of the kids that participate in the program are from Selma. So like the Project Surf Camp that was just done several months ago, there was no registration fee for them. The healthcare board, the grant that we received last year paid for that registration. So they paid nothing.
That was for which one?
The Project Surf Camp.
Paddle board? Oh, yeah. And so, and now you're requesting that additional 3,000 to pay for it for next year.
Yes, and we do have the invoice for that. It was emailed to me after 5, so I can provide that for you guys tomorrow. As far as the Challenger League, this past summer was the first time that Selma Little League charged our parents $20. And so that's what we were asking, $20 for 50 kids, which includes a shirt that is approved for sun protection, UVB, UPF, okay, and also a hat to shield their face from the sun.
No other expenses you guys pay out?
For
While you
baseball?
have these programs running, like as far as say a kid gets injured?
So we, our nonprofit is through a Central Valley Resource Center out of Parlier, and we piggyback off of their insurance.
And you guys pay for that? This organization
Yes,
pays it out
yes.
of the pocket? What does that run?
That I do not have. Okay. They take a percentage out of. So you're wanting to know how much insurance we pay?
I just want to know if you guys collect registration fees. I know organizations collect registration fees and like some fees run from $70 to $100 for each child, depending if you have a sibling or not, or however way they work a bundle. And then registration fees, like for instance, they'll go to 10 games, have a uniform, you get pictures included and your insurance, and all backgrounds are checked. The coach's background, anybody's on the field, all board members' backgrounds are checked. That's what that registration fee pays for. So that people are aware that, you know, that's how we, because I know you can't run an organization.
Right, our
for free.
background
I mean,
checks, we're done.
it can't be, no, I'm just saying what I know organization fees go to, because some people don't know where fees have to get paid to, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, it's
Like umpires, they just don't show up and do the games for free. You gotta pay them
right.
and so on and stuff like that. So fees, that, just wondering how much fees you guys have.
Any other?
Yeah, Letitia had asked a good question that I've been thinking about since I saw the application. Our district, I've always been a big supporter of your organization, but our district supports the residents of Selma and parts of Parlier. I was just a little concerned is that, I mean, it's a good thing that your organization has grown and the amount of families that you serve. But at the same time, I was concerned when I saw Kingsburg, Reedley, Fresno, and Clovis. added to that. So my concern is, as board members, we're given the task of, granting the tax dollars from Selma to stay in Selma. So my concern is how much of it actually is going to these other cities where I'm just struggling with that. And part of us looking at the our guidelines in the future is to maybe kind of streamline some of the verbiage to kind of get away from this struggle that I'm having. It's like, I really, really want to support, but at the same time, it's like, I want to do the job I was elected to do.
Right.
So that,
I understand. I don't have the percentage of each town, but I know majority is from Selma. Earlier, we do have a few families from Kingsburg. Yes, Fresno, Clovis. I just don't have the percentage of what is in Selma.
So are any of these funds needed for right now?
No, this is for, it starts in January with the indoor soccer.
So we could ask you to come back with the numbers of Selma and possibly Parlier, because Parlier is within our influence, the very outskirts of Parlier. And have you come back and give us those
Sure.
numbers?
So you just need the numbers for Selma and Parlier.
Right, because that might change the amount of money that we're supposed to be giving out and not supporting kids from Fresno and Clovis.
Oh, and another thing that is not on this list that would pertain to Selma is that we are now going to be charged a facility fee for our indoor soccer. Selma Unified is going to charge us a facility fee. This is something new they've started this year. So that would also give us the opportunity, since we just turned in the forms, to include that cost in there as well, because yes, they're going to charge us janitorial fees and the use of the facility.
Let me just jump in real quick, but we did ask to have it waived. So I did attach a letter to the facility form to ask if they would waive the fees, like they've done in the past.
But you just haven't heard back
We
yet.
haven't heard back, and what we've just kind of heard through the grapevine is most likely we will be charged. But I am waiting on their answer.
Do you have an amount that they're charging?
I have it in my phone.
Where is this taking place? Indoor where?
So the indoor soccer, before COVID, we haven't done it since COVID. Before COVID, we had used the ALMS, the middle school gym.
Okay.
And then also our Halloween carnival, which you guys don't provide any money for that, but we use it for the dining hall at Selma High, and the same as with Breakfast with Santa.
I don't know how the
Okay,
rest of the
so
board feels.
ALMS was letting you use their cafeteria or their gym?
Their gym, as long as, in high school, let us use the dining hall before COVID.
Okay,
And so
and that's no longer gonna happen.
I'm waiting on an answer.
You're waiting for an answer. Okay.
Yes,
Um,
I'm requesting the fees to be waived, but I was told on the phone yesterday, there's a process that it has to go through before it hits the person that makes that decision. So we're in limbo right now if we are going to get charged.
But you
for
would
it.
have that information by November.
Yes,
Yes.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Dan, any other comments? I'm kind of thinking maybe we should ask you to come back with the information that we are requesting in November. And we'll
Okay.
have that meeting set tonight so that you can,
Okay.
and it'll be on the website.
Okay, so you're wanting the percentage of Selma participants earlier, and if,
And the board,
and the
the
board will
Selma Unified.
waive the fee. Okay,
and all your invoices.
Oh,
Your-
okay.
yeah.
You just want me to wait to turn them all in at the same time?
That would be
Okay.
great.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Mm,
So how do we?
No action.
So that's a no action.
What's the meeting? $1,000 and we paid them 17. Okay, it's gonna charge
I don't think they will. I think when it goes through their process, they'll waive it. It was like the city of Selma. There's some things, there's a process, but they almost always waive it for certain things. Okay, our next proposal is the folkloric dancers.
This is coming back September 16th. Was this one coming back November or September?
That's coming back in November. Okay, anytime you're ready.
Hey, thank you. First of all, good afternoon or evening to the board and to all the members and citizens that are here. My name is Oscar Hernandez. I'm a lifelong Selman. I grew up in this town. Walking in, felt a little interesting because Nick Medina was actually our neighbor for a few years when I was growing up. So I have long ties to Selma Heights with Selma, went to Selma schools all the way through Selma High, and went to college, became a teacher. Unfortunately, not here in Selma. I would have liked to, but I've been at Kings Canyon Unified. I just started my 29th year teaching. 6 years ago, I was approached because at Selma High School, I started in the folklorico program, Los Paisanos. Vicky Filgus, my instructor, after I graduated, told me that there were parents in Danuba that wanted to start a folklorico group, and she recommended me, and I did that all through college. Later, I danced myself semi-professionally with a group in Fresno, and then kind of retired a little bit from that. And some citizens from Selma recommended, hey, we need a place because Selma has this long history of folklorico. And I knew that the nonprofit would be the way to go, but I was kind of afraid of the process of a nonprofit, so we just opened it as a business, even though it was pretty much run like a nonprofit because it didn't make much of a profit. But we just wanted to make it available to our community. And we really didn't imagine how successful the program was going to be. So we opened our doors on August 1st of 2016. So we are now in our 6th year here in downtown Selma. Over the summer, we did finally go through the process of applying to become a 501c3, and it's now official. So we're really excited. We have a board. Sitting to my right is Monique Hernandez. She's president of our board. Our treasurer, Margarita Hernandez, is sitting over there, and Jose Moreno is a board member as well. And so it's all new to us. Some of the questions that I heard Ms. Gallardo's asking were like, oh, wow, these are good things to think about because we're still kind of infants when it comes to the nonprofit world. The building is very old. We do charge a tuition, a monthly tuition to our dancers. That's basically been able to pay the bills. None of us that teach dance take a salary. We all volunteer our time, as well as our parents club, which is now mainly our board. And so some of the repairs that we're asking for, mainly the flooring, is something that's a little bit out of our reach with what our budget is on a monthly basis. And as far as its relationship to health, I wrote it in the application that we, a little bit of warping. The wood is not the best quality. So once they get going and stomping their folklorico shoes and boots on the floor, dust comes up, and we know that that's not very healthy in an enclosed environment. And so the money would basically be going towards that. The original quotes that we had were a lot higher just this week. So this is kind of new. That's why we redid the budget. We found someone, because we're trying to keep it kind of local, but we found someone that came and he gave us a lower price for the flooring that would be the most effective for the type of, what we're using it for, the type of dance. and the safest. And so we actually, it's less than what we had originally thought it would be. And I made those adjustments on the little small spreadsheet there. The second issue that's kind of like a health issue would be the ceiling tiles. The building is really old, and since this is going to be on YouTube, I'm not going to say anything about the landlord, but the ceiling tiles are really old, and on rainy days, it does leak. And so there's some, water damage to the ceiling tiles as well as, which I'm guessing probably would at one point turn into mold. And that's the other concern. And, in the application also just mentions about the inclusivity that we have. Our youngest dancers are 2 years old and our oldest dancers are 76. And so we have a variety of classes that we offer from Monday through Thursday. And we just accept everyone, including we already have a connection with the other group because we share one of the students that's there, that's special needs. So we try to be inclusive to all Selma residents that are interested in continuing that tradition that a lot of them started when they were going through our middle school and high school programs. Yes, sir.
Where is the location of the studio?
We're right in downtown Selma, 2016 2nd Street. So if you're familiar with the dancing school, we're across the street.
Oh, you're across the street?
Yes.
That used to be a music store?
Next door.
Next door. Okay.
This was, yeah. And so I used a lot of my savings to open the place. It was an old beauty salon, I think in the 90s. It was a beauty salon. So really had to kind of change the structure of it to make it into a dance studio.
General questions.
Yes.
I'm just gonna ask. When you rent, I'm assuming you're renting. He's not
Yes.
giving you the place for free.
Correct.
So what are the terms? And I'm not trying to be nosy, but wouldn't this be the obligation of the owner of the building to take care of the premises?
Yeah, so the contract stated very clearly that anything below or on the inside was our responsibility. The only thing that the landlord would be responsible would be anything on the roof. And so, and interestingly enough, which I had never really seen, the AC unit is up in the attic, which is kind of interesting. So when it's broken down quite a few times, that's been our responsibility to fix the AC unit because it's not up on the roof. Okay. So we're responsible for everything inside the building.
How many years are you year to year or you have
Year to year.
Okay.
And we really have looked for other buildings.
Well, that's one of the next questions. I'm just saying if this building is becoming a burn your saddle, I mean, it's rough to, it says here, I underline, you put temporary flooring, replaced the floor several times. This is not the first time, right?
Right.
So it's a repeated deal. So you're spending a lot of money on a building that might not be conducive. Not, you say you might have mold?
Well, we don't know. I'm just saying about there's water damage on the ceiling tiles. So we
Yeah.
haven't had that checked out professionally. It's just,
How many square footage do you need?
I don't have that number. I think the
only reason I'm bringing all this up is maybe we could talk to a realtor or somebody to help you out finding a.
We've done that and we've gone to several places.
They don't want to help you?
Well, it's not they don't want to help. There's always some type of an obstacle. For example, there was a nice building downtown, great flooring, lots of storage space, which we need because of the costuming. But yeah, tenants upstairs, and he said the music would be too loud. That was one. The other buildings that could have been a possibility, there are beams in the middle. And so it's hard to find a building that's just a big open space
area,
like
I guess,
this.
yeah.
That would be conducive to the dancing that we do.
And I'm not trying to ask these questions to get out of helping you. I'm just trying to get a grasp around what your existing situation is. If there's another,
the most recent, because we're always looking out, we are. And so then the most recently we looked at a building in downtown Selma, which would have been great. And it was actually even lower rent, but they had recently installed like some kitchen equipment, and they want to bring somebody in that might be doing something with food. They didn't want someone for dance. And we've also had we just have been told no by a couple of owners of real estate in different parts of Selma. Like, we just don't want you here, basically.
Is this the total amount for the floor right here, the 70,000?
Yes,
And is it Tulare tile? Is this who's doing the floor? Or is
Yes.
this different quotes
that was the lowest quote we got.
from Tulare tile?
Yes.
Is it the same kind of flooring that you put in before?
No, absolutely not. No, this one would be like a really good high quality, kind of, it looks like hardwood flooring. It's not laminate. It would be something that would be able to resist what it is that we do with, with the folklorico dance, which
Some
was
of the
just,
stuff now is made out of recycled PVC pipe.
Yeah.
You couldn't destroy it if you tried.
Also, the reason why I was asking so many questions, if there's an issue with this building that you're in now, let's say this roof has a mold issue or something like that, and you made this investment into the building that the landlord basically is benefiting from on the floor.
Mhm.
And then what if you have to vacate the premises because of overhead issues, is my point. I'm trying to safeguard you and your company from future expenses. And it kind of sends up alarms with, you don't know if there's mold, and I don't know what the legalities are. And I'm just, as a concerned citizen for you guys, I'm just wondering if putting the money into that particular spot is the best choice, is my
yeah.
point.
And so like I said, I made a little joke about the landlord, but I mean, on the opposite side of that is that during COVID, they did lower our rent a bit. And then through donations of some of our family members that really believed in what we were doing, we were able to stay open during those 13 months that we closed down the studio. So, I mean, it is a possibility, obviously, that at any point they could just say, okay, you need to evict the building. But I think that in good faith, they prefer to just have someone that's renting their location and that they're getting a consistent rent every month.
Oscar, how recent did you get your nonprofit tax ID?
Just last 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
2 weeks ago, okay.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is, in the past, running it as a business, I did look on your website, you do charge for performances, you charge their dues, but now that you have your nonprofit, are you looking at going out in the community for donations now that they could be tax deductible?
Yes. So this is the first grant that we applied for. We're going to try to, apply for more. We did announce it to all of the different classes and their parents last week and said, if you have connections with businesses or companies and they'd like to make donations. What we understood from the gentleman that helped us with some of the paperwork is that the tuition cannot be a tax write-off because you're getting something for it, as opposed to, it's a company or somebody that's giving you a donation, then that could be a tax write-off for them. So like I said, we're still infants when it comes to the nonprofit world. We're learning as we go. So any advice that we can get from any of you would be helpful.
Great, and that's kind of what I was thinking is, if now with that nonprofit status, you'll be able to go to businesses for donations. Is looking at it as kind of where you are now, we're looking at this floor going to be replaced again, I don't know, a year or 2 years.
I think this one, from the samples that he showed us, it'll be pretty much permanent. It'll last a long time.
So yeah, looking at that, your AC issues, your tile issues, didn't seem like you had a means to get in front of it. It was more like just Band-Aid, just get us through.
Yes.
But now, yeah, I just want to know if you had that vision of, getting the donors and, they can write off those donations now. So that way we're not sitting here talking about the floor, the AC or something later.
Right.
the floor that you're gonna be putting in, is it a subfloor or it's actually the floors to the building that the owner owns? I'm not too familiar. Is this dance floor something that goes in and you put on top of the floor, or you're actually replacing the floor in the studio?
Yeah, so the, right now it's like on a second layer of flooring. And so that would be removed. And then some of the wood flooring on the bottom, this would go on top of that. I'm sure that, I don't really know the details because that's not my area of expertise in the flooring, but he just talked about obviously making it even and doing what they have to do, but it would go on top of, I guess, the original flooring.
Okay, so you have the floor here at 7,458.36. You're requesting 10,000.
No,
No.
we would request only the amount of the flooring.
So you're just wanting the 748.
Yeah, and then I added the
458.36
ceiling tiles, but I mean,
cents.
I would leave that up to the committee. I mean, that could be something easily that we would be able
Well,
to
there's a
fundraise.
remainder. If you're asking for the 10, there's a remainder of 2,541.64. And you have two codes for wait, this one. Which one's the tile? This one?
Just the
This
Home
one.
Depot one, that's it. Yeah.
This one?
And then also I'd be remiss and I would feel bad that I forgot to introduce Camila Nazarate. And I brought her because she's kind of representative. She started in our little 2- and 3-year-old class, which we call infantil. Then she was in the pre-KK class. And now that she's going to be a big first grader, she's now in our primary class. So our little motto, because we are in Selma in an ag area, is cultivando futbolistas, which we're cultivating folkloric dancers. So she's a representation of it. So we brought her along.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they have this one, invoice,
175.
and then here's the code for the floor.
391.
Excuse me.
Right, so these two.
And then you said,
Yeah.
oh, so, okay, I saw the tax.
So basically, the revised total is the 7,458.36, not
Yeah.
the 10,000, correct? Okay.
In this now for the
Um,
$175.36.
Well, this is what he's asking for.
Probably,
But
can I say something?
Yes.
I say, when I read this proposal originally, I kind of struggled with it, because again, with our guidelines kind of the way they are, it leaves a lot of room for interpretation, but again, we're gonna look at tightening, streamlining so it's a more direct healthcare, health and wellness. Kind of looking where we were, where our guidelines are, what we've done in the past, and we granted the wrestling floor, their mats or their floor,
Their
wall to
mats.
wall. Yeah, but it's wall to wall floor. When you go look at their business, it's mats from one wall to the other. So in my mind, I would grant the request here based on what we've done in the past, with the caveat that in the future, it may streamline a little bit more towards more direct health and wellness.
And, you know, and just to add on to even what's written in the proposal, in the area of health and wellness, it goes beyond even the obvious. The obvious is that at the end of each session, everybody leaves all sweaty from the cardio that they just did. So that's the obvious one and the most apparent. But I'm sure most of you, being part of this committee, is very well aware of a lot of the kind of more social, emotional, and mental health issues that people are going through. And that's been one of the biggest surprises, is to get the feedback from not only the younger dancers, but from a lot of the adults about how it's been a positive thing for them to have this outlet from both the social, emotional, and mental health side of health. And to be honest, and again, you know, I know we're on YouTube, so I'll keep this as vague as possible, but we had a couple that said they were in marriage counseling and they suggested doing something together. So they joined the group and it basically saved their marriage. And so that's the type of feedback that we're getting. We even do little exercises like, give us a number from 1 to 10 of how you're feeling at the beginning of class. And then we do the same assessment at the end, 1 to 10, and across the board, it always goes up. And so all of the data is there about what something like an activity like dance does, you know, to the brain and the chemicals that are released. It's been a really positive thing, way beyond of anything that we could have imagined when we opened 6 years ago.
I remember you from a long time ago, and I have always loved the dancing that's been done in the schools, and the fact that we have it in the community, I think is an amazing thing. I have a hard time with fixing up another person's building, but we have done that in the past. And I certainly want to help you and your group to get going. So I'm certainly in favor of helping you tonight, knowing that we're going to be tightening some things up in the future. This was a good time for you to come and get your classification. But I wish you well with that, because I know the students that I've dealt with for many, many, many years in Selma, they loved their Mexican dance classes. They loved them. So thank you for what you do for our kids.
Thank
Good motion.
Well, just really quick, I see the floor at 7,458.36. We can't give them the additional 175.36.
No, that includes that. That's on this
That's
sheet.
on here.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay.
Letitia, it's
Got it,
here.
got it, got it.
It's got flooring and ceiling tile.
Okay,
So if we have a motion,
I'll make a motion to grant the 7,458.36.
and Lorraine seconds. Roll call.
Chair Nelson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Scrivia,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo,
Yes.
Terry Avalos,
Yes.
and Clerk Ferrera.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, one
Really appreciate
Real
it.
quick question for the ESY.
Roxanne.
You guys do fundraisers? Real quick question. Do you guys do fundraisers for your guys' programs? I mean, for your, you guys
The
do?
only fundraiser that we currently have is the Halloween carnival.
Okay.
We only did it as a fundraiser prior to COVID, and then we are just starting back up in full swing.
Okay. That's awesome.
We're gonna excuse ourselves. I'm actually gonna do the class right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, our next one is for Ken to request to move resolutions from odd year to even year election.
So this is a pretty simple thing, that they're consolidating all the elections. So they're just, the county's asking if we have any comments regarding it. The comments could simply be a short email or letter to the clerk saying, we don't oppose this. But they're gonna do it either way, because everyone's.
Okay. Okay. So we can have Debbie send that, or?
Yeah, I can check
You?
it. It's no
Okay.
big deal. It's very short, and there's really no action for it. It's just if anyone has any comments.
If they're gonna do it anyway.
It's cheaper too, by the way.
Oh, I bet it would be.
That's item F.
And then the approval of, okay, on the administrative secretary timesheet, do we have to vote on that each time?
Or can that just be,
I-
we've talked about that before.
We have, and I think if it falls within the budget that has been allocated for it, is really unnecessary.
We need to redo all that.
Well, I mean, you could because it's on the agenda this time, but at a minimum, there should be a consent calendar. And it could just be voted, in one fell swoop with other items, but it's up to you.
Okay, do we have a motion to? I guess you might want to look at it first. I work with her all the time, so she's been invaluable.
Okay, this is his, and this is Ken's. That's his.
Oh,
Sorry.
Check it out.
Where's the other one? Oh, I mean,
Wow, I wish that was my legal fees over being dramatic.
oh no.
Is it 20 and 10 hours?
Joe,
Well, there's two
Matt.
pages. I just put each page, that the number of hours on that page. So you put it together, there's 30.
Okay, so, you wanna put the hours on this?
The total,
I mean,
so her total is 30 hours? I'll write them down closer.
So you mentioned in the budget, so what was the amount that was budgeted in? Is that for month or what?
I would defer to the chair. Is there an amount budgeted for the secretary?
We have not, but remember, we were only paying $15, $900 for the other one, and now we're paying 30. And as I told you before, we need to review that budget.
Yeah, so there'd be a new item coming. in.
Okay.
And usually what happens is every spring, we adopt a new budget with an estimate. And as long as it falls within the estimate, then there'd be no need to ratify the administrative secretary.
But ours is way out of, whack, because this is what we have right now, and we need to redo it.
Yeah.
I don't know where that. But I got it, so it came from before, but we can,
There should be a motion.
okay. Do I have a motion to approve the administrative secretary?
I'll make the motion that we approve the administrative secretary's
We have a second.
type sheet.
Lorraine, second. Roll call.
Chair Nelson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Serenian,
Yes.
Treasurer Gallardo,
yes.
Secretary Avalos,
Yes.
and Member Herrera.
Yes.
Okay, finally, we have our our November meeting, our last one of the year. You could sign it, okay. You do the checks, all right.
November.
I don't have anything in November, I'm here. Letty, do you have anything?
Yeah, I say we do it on the 8th.
I would pass.
Election. No, we'd have to do it more like the 29th
I'm messing with you.
or the 15th. Or we could do it the 1st of December.
We don't have every day.
Does December
I'm-
1st? work
I'm
for anything?
fine with either one.
How about you, December 1st? Letty? Yep.
With the election, does it have to be a certain time of the month of November?
No, but if we can all meet December,
December 1st.
Works for me.
okay. So we're gonna meet Thursday, December 1st. 6 o'clock. And we'll meet here. We'll just have to check, make sure we're on the calendar. I kind of worried that because they have this as a cooling center. I don't know if we have extra people then I.
Well, it's nice and cool
I
there.
have something to say really quick.
Okay.
Being how we didn't have you said it was gonna be December 1st?
Yes, at 6. Does that work for you?
So, there wasn't the financial report on there. However, if you look at the one I gave you, I had to write out for the Babe Ruth and for the Swish Boosters, the remaining balance of the 4,146. And, the Babe Ruth was, where are they at? 1,000.
What check number was that?
It was check 1565 for 4146.05, and then the Babe Ruth was 1,507.93. However, it's at the bottom, check 1572.
Okay.
That was the 1,500 was already purchased by a coach. All receipts were given to me. They were all of 2022. I put them all within the packet. And then they provided a check that was written out to that coach, a copy, and I put it with all the paperwork over there. The Swish Boosters, also the same thing. They provided all their purchasing order from Amazon. They needed the money and I attached it all to the packets. So Debbie has a copy, just because I know you say we're not writing out to the organizations, but they didn't have the money to get the stuff, but they provided all the receipts. I made copies. They gave me receipts for it, so I attached them. So I just want to let you guys know that, so that.
Perfect. And these, Letty, this is really good because we're working with those auditors and we have to turn this thing that we want in each time. So thank you for that.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that, so that that we don't make them out to the organizations, but I had to because they needed the money and that was the only way they were gonna be able to get their stuff they needed, so.
Okay, is there anything else? Anybody? Okay, this meeting's adjourned. No.
So I printed them out.